My journey involves a lot of things. Involves a lot of addictions, mistakes, great mistakes, falling into debt because of my addictions, making friends, making enemies, falling down, getting up, marriage failure, 3 suicide attempts.
Well, a very, very, very warm welcome to the Goldmine Show. As always, absolutely excited just to bring this show to you. We keep seeing the greatness inside of you, and we want to keep reminding you, man, that greatness is just worth fighting for. You cannot quit on you when there is greatness inside of you, when there are generations that indeed look up to you, my friend, and we will never tire just to remind you that indeed you are greatness. We're coming to you from Laikipia Cottages right here in Kiel and Leshwa. And I want to welcome you, man. Just come on down and enjoy the beauty that is this place. Today's show is an amazing one. Did I tell you to follow us on the Goldmine Show on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on Instagram? And I am so excited about today's guest, man. You have watched him, you have loved him, you have benefited from him, and today, my friend, he's on set. I'm extremely excited just to bring my good friend, I'm a great man, Robert Burale.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
What's up, bro?
Wow,
Man?
thank you.
So good to have you, man.
No, it's an honor to be here.
Honor is all mine.
No, it's an honor to
honor
be
is
here.
all mine.
Thank you for allowing me to be in your platform.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can tell you there is enough. Personally, I've wanted to have you over. You are just a well of wisdom.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know of two guys that keep it just as real as you.
That's all we can do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys, you keep it absolutely real. And of course, I've seen a lot of Goldmine followers saying, man, bring us RB, man.
And I'm here now.
And I'm so glad, man.
Yes.
Danny Nimelipa, man, we're going into it, man. And you know what? Coach, man, you wear many hats. Coach, pastor, great man, and all of that stuff. But I want us to go to the conversation of this man, Burale.
Well, ask away.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I think I'm ready for this.
Yeah,
Yes.
man. I mean, I need us just to go into the detail of who is this man? I mean, this man who speaks with great conviction, this man who talks it straight. Who is Robert Burale, man? Just introduce us to RB.
Wow. Aside of what I do,
Yeah.
as in TV host, radio host,
Right.
pastor, all that,
Yep.
I'm just a man who wants to be better tomorrow than I am today.
Right.
I'm just a man who is alive and kicking because of the scandalous grace of God.
Yep.
A man who has made mistakes but learned from them
Right.
and learning from them.
Right.
Highs and lows, mountains and valleys.
Right.
I am just a man who is determined to die empty,
Right.
as Dr. Miles Monroe said.
Right.
I'm just a man who wants to be broken so that the light of God can shine through. Broken before God, broken before myself, broken before men. And I'm not a man who is perfect. I tell people, if you're looking for a perfect man, do not follow me, because I will disappoint you. So Robert Burale is just that man who knows today, I am one day closer to my death. You as well.
Right.
The guys at the camera,
Right.
they are one day closer to their death. I just want every day to count. That's really who I am. Nothing special, nothing perfect, but just a man who is determined to die empty. And my brother, everybody must want to die empty. Whatever space I'm put in a mountain, in a valley, I ask God, what do you want me to do here? What do you want me to learn from here? But I need to release something every day. Because the day that my life flashes right in front of my eyes, I will smile and say, I gave it my best.
Wow. Quite an elaborate.
That's really who I
detail
am.
of who this man.
Yeah.
And you know, you make an important one when you say you're not perfect.
No.
And a lot of us maybe have this perspective of that's a perfect guy, it is him. The fact that you can acknowledge not perfect means that then you're cognizant of a journey.
Right.
You, one, have taken, two, are taking. Might you just want to speak a bit into that?
Yes. My journey involves a lot of things. Involves a lot of addictions, mistakes, great mistakes, falling into debt because of my addictions, making friends, making enemies, falling down, getting up, marriage failure, 3 suicide attempts, survived Corona. And I'm just standing here because, every door I have been through, I have come out with a flower. Painful door, I've come out with something. Joyful door, I've come out with something. So I'm just a man who, also at a very young age, was molested by this house help. I see her face right now. Went to boarding school in class 4, then left the country after high school, and went into serious strip club addiction. Man, you get hooked up in the strip club. And I want people to understand, because that's a very big part of my journey, and allow me to just dwell there a little bit. I was first taken to a strip club by my friend. But I didn't realize it's a very deeply spiritual place. Spiritual, not the good side. Because when you enter, the lighting is perfect for what happens in there.
Absolutely.
But then when these strippers are dancing, they're looking at you straight in the eye. It is at that point they're connecting with you. That you say, this is the last time that I'll ever come to a strip club. Tomorrow evening, you're back there.
You're almost swearing I'll never be back
Bro,
here.
I have never forgotten I once spent 100,000 of borrowed money in one night. Yeah.
At the strip club.
Yes, sir. Man, that place it's 7 years. And every time I say it's the last time. It's the last time. It's the last time. Until one time, I had nothing left in me. I had no identity. I was as empty could be. I mean, you're walking in town, nobody knows you, but you just know anybody who maybe just looks at you saying, useless man, empty man. And I go to that place. And I know people think they're going to strip clubs to have fun. But no, everybody who goes there is empty. They're looking for affirmation. Because for 10,000 shillings, for example, when you get a private lap dance, she'll make you feel as if you're the best thing since sliced bread. She'll give you all the attention. And for a man, we are ego. If a woman makes you feel as if you're the best thing, man, she's dancing, she's standing, but her eyes somehow are stuck on you. Lionel Richie said in a song, stuck on you, And her eyes are there.
Right.
And as you're about to be done with your 10,000 part, she taps your nose and walks away while looking at you, say, please come back. I'll give you another 10,000.
I ain't done with you yet.
You know what I'm
Come
saying?
back.
Yeah.
Right.
And that journey, looking back, was very important for me because you only start working on your identity when you feel everything has been taken away from you.
Right.
I went so down for me to look up.
And this was a journey, you said, of 7 years.
Strip club business. In the UK, when I came back to Kenya, there were strip clubs all over. And I started going to another one in Langata. Yeah. And as life would have it, when I gave my life to Christ, I just crossed over to another church that was opposite the strip club, which was House of Grace Church.
Bishop
David Burale, my father, my spiritual father,
Right.
My mentor,
Right.
great man.
Right.
I mean, I love that man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, just curious, as you're doing the strip club, at this point in time, are you married yet or you're not married?
Not married.
Not married.
I'm not married.
All right.
But would you even get married?
It'll be difficult.
It would be very difficult. I was dating, but it would be very difficult because when you go to a strip club, man, those girls are flexible. Man, they can turn and put their legs here. Now you go tell your wife who has 6 children.
It just won't work.
You're putting pressure on your wife.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
They do some gymnastics out there. Right.
And they make you feel so important, not realizing whoever comes with 1,000 more than you is now the top dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you keep on going for that feeling. You keep on going for that feeling. It's strip club addiction is like drug addiction. It's like alcohol abuse. It's the same thing. It's your finger firmly on the self-destruct button. You know it's killing you, but you just can't stop it.
You need to say that again.
Yes.
It's your finger
On a self-destruct button. You know it's killing you.
Right.
It's hurting you.
Right.
But you just can't stop it.
Right.
Yeah. And that is why even now when I look back, people call me. The other day somebody told me, RB, I am tired of masturbation, but I can't stop it. When I look back at my strip club addiction season, I will never judge a person who tells me that.
Yep.
Do you know how many people are struggling with masturbation?
Must be a lot.
Oh my goodness. Married men, married women, boys in campus, girls in campus. And now it has taken a notch higher. It has gone to autoerotic asphyxiation. Because nobody wants to help them.
Right.
If you go to a church or Bible study group, pray for me, I'm struggling with this. They are the ones who will gossip you.
You hear the story all over the place. I'm keen to know. So, for you, I mean, you got not just to a strip club, but to the addiction point of it.
Yes.
What was your journey like to then say, here is how I'm going to get myself off it? I mean, how do you go down, no, it is addiction and I need to get out of addiction. How did you navigate that whole
I'll give an example.
Yeah.
There are very many people here working behind the scenes.
Right.
If we all walk away from you now,
Right.
you'll have to love your own company.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
So every good thing walked away from me within myself. And I had to find myself. I now started asking myself, are you good company? Try and be a good person that you would like to hang around with. And I had a conversation with a man in the mirror. And I said, what is there positive about me? I'm funny. By God's grace, I'm not foolish. I have some wisdom. So start amplifying the good things about you. And that's what I did. And I sought the Lord. And when I joined House of Grace, I want to say something Bishop Moridi said. He had never met me before then. He picks me from a crowd and says, I don't know who you are. Never met you before. If I be a man of God, in a few years your name will be known all over this country. I don't know how, but he says, if I be a man of God, it will happen. And my journey started. I felt loved. For once, you hear another man affirming you. And that is why men like us, we need to look for young boys to affirm them.
Right.
Tell them you have what it takes.
Right.
Give them a pat at the back, a strong one, like, be a man. Yeah. But you know what?
Remember.
Yes.
Yep.
It hurt you a bit,
Yep.
but then I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That alone makes a difference.
Right.
So when I started getting that affirmation, I joined the media department of the church, and I felt, oh, you mean there's something good that can come out of me?
Right.
And the rest, as they say.
Is history. Is history. It must have been quite a moment for you, just figuring out that this place I'm coming to church every Sunday and I'm starting to receive love and receive affirmation. It's just across the road. I was just hooked up just across the road.
Some dingy strip club.
Yeah.
And those places are not, they don't have the best chairs. Who cares about the chairs? Me, I want the brass to come off.
That's what your focus is.
You put 50 shillings, they only remove that sleeve.
Yeah.
100 shillings, it comes here. 10,000.
All of it. It depends on how much you put on the table.
Yeah.
Wow. So, at what point then did you give your life to Christ and start the journey of them walking out?
What happened is that one time I was driving and I was listening to a secular station. And then I stopped by Hurlingham to buy something at a shop. Apple juice. It was apple juice. Got back to my car. I put on the car. The station had messed up, so I was trying to look for a station, and then it went to Hope FM. And then I'm hearing a lady being interviewed. I'm like, wow, I know this voice. And she was being interviewed about some stress she had gone through. She had lost her husband, and people are being unkind to her. with her children, and God came through for her. She was called Connie. She was being interviewed by Pastor Ngaira at that time.
Right.
And I listened to it. And I said, you mean God can do this for people? What? And after that, I called her and I said, listen, I need to see you.
Yep.
She says, come to my office. I went to the museum somewhere there.
Right.
I went to the office and she prayed with me and said, I think you need to see the pastor who was interviewing me. She called Pastor Ngaira.
Right.
And then Pastor Ngaira says, tell him to come and see me at such and such a time, the same day.
Right.
So I drive there and I call Pastor Ngaira and I say, hey, I'm sitting outside here. I'm here. He says, wait outside. I'll call you if somebody in the office.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting outside Hope FM Studios.
Right.
So he calls me. He says, I can't see you. But he says, I said, I'm outside here. He says, no, I didn't mean you to come to Valley Road. I'm in Ngong.
Oh my goodness.
But I knew I didn't have time. There was something in me telling me it is today or today.
Right.
And I was so crestfallen, but he said, come to Ngong. Drove to Ngong. Sat with him, I think, until midnight.
Wow.
And he led me to Christ. Yes, sir. That's what true salvation is about. He was busy the whole day, but he gave me until midnight.
He had the time for it.
He may not have had the time, if you look at it on the face of it, because he's a family man.
Right.
I mean, he's worked hard the whole day. He needs to go home and sleep
And
for him
recover.
to start the next day.
Right.
He listened to me and listened to me and listened to me. Gave my life to Christ. And that's how my journey started. And then joined House of Grace, which was opposite the strip club.
You must give a thumbs up to Pastor Ngaira.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, good man.
God bless you, sir.
He's a good man.
Right.
Great man. And joined House of Grace. But I was not prepared for things that happened immediately after. I thought, it's like a switch. Yes, Lord, problem's over. No. The struggle continued. The journey was hard because you have been with the devil more than you have been in Christ.
Right.
So you're trying to break off from that evil man, evil spirit.
Right.
Man, the devil doesn't let go easily, Say, making me feel, oh, people mocked me. Oh, so you have given your life to Christ because of problems. Well, if it was because of problems, that's fine. God will use anything. God will use problems, will use hunger, he will use sickness to get your attention.
He can use
So
whatever.
I said, if that's what it is,
Right.
you know what?
So
I'm
be
just
it.
happy.
Absolutely.
I'm now sensing God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And from then I started listening to preachers. I was attracted to preachers, Little did I know that that's the call of God over my life. When I was doing my book, I was interviewing my mom to tell me about my childhood. And she told me when I was at 6 years, a preacher said, your son is a pastor. I was 6 years old.
Wow.
I found out then from my mom.
The same word that Bishop Morevi has also spoken about.
Yeah, so Bishop says, I don't know who you are, but in a few years, your name will be known. And I just said, you know what? I'm so broken right now, the only way is up. I held on to every word that man told me. And I told God, time will tell if this is you who spoke through that man. I don't honor Bishop Moredi for no reason. A man told me something one day. So some people may wonder, hey, you really honor this man. God has used him greatly in my life and continues to do so. He says, when everybody is throwing stones at you, just know I will not be among them. Man, when you feel and you know that somebody is in your corner,
Right.
bro, that makes a difference.
Absolutely.
That is why when a young man comes, a young lady comes and says, stand with me, I never turn them away.
Right.
Some words are life-changing,
Right. Right.
And slowly but surely, I am a father here, I have a daughter. Man, I'm broke. How am I going to do it? What kind of man is this who is broke and you have a child? So those pains, the mockery, made me say, you know what? If I'm going to die, I'll die trying.
Right.
But I'm never going to be taken out in shame.
Right.
And I worked hard. And I tried. And I tried everything. Bro, I know what it is to eat Colgate. for dinner,
Colgate.
not for hygiene.
Toothpaste.
I had no food in my house. I remember clearly one day, I removed my clothes to lay on the cold tiles to soothe my stomach because I was hungry. Never ever deny anybody money or food when they tell you they're hungry. It takes away your dignity. It can make, like it did to me, a grown man cry. Hunger is shameful. And looking back, my mom, when she had that part later in life, she told my son, but why did you tell me? But I think God needed me to go through that season. I called a friend of mine, I said, listen, I'm hungry. Please bring me something to eat. And he comes to where I was staying, and from the window I'm seeing a silver convertible Mercedes-Benz. My friend comes out, but I'm not seeing any big bag there.
And you're hungry.
Because good news
Yep.
to a hungry man is food.
It's food, yes.
Not praise the Lord.
Yes.
So a friend comes in and just says, this is all I have for you. What does she give me? A DVD.
Oh.
And I put in the DVD, and it's Bishop Noel Jones. And the word is, you're expected to win. And I get to a place, and he's saying, you have been looking for God, you can't see him. You've been praying with your friends, and you can't feel God. But I'll tell you where God is. And then he pulls a chair all through, and he sits at the end. He says, God is at the finishing line because he expects you to win. My hunger disappeared.
You're not hungry anymore.
That was my word. That was better than pizza. And being a Louis as an eating program, I didn't care about food at that time. And I said, this is it for me.
Yep.
God expects me
To win.
to win. But even in that journey, because I prefer speaking to appreciating the people in my journey. Now I've forgotten a lady called Alice Rua. One time she brought me food from her house with her children because I had no food to eat. I never forget such people. Yeah. Man, yeah. So started now looking at my gifts, I was an actor from primary school, got a role to act. Bro, from having Colgate and not having food, then I'm given a main role to act with Rita Dominic from Nigeria, you know?
Yep.
My the producer was called Karo Nguta, directed by Gilbert Lukalia, you know? And Gitura Kamau. And a few months after that, I'm in South Africa promoting the movie. Bro, I go to the hotel, breakfast is like 1 kilometer. Weetabix, cornflakes, baked beans. I mean, everything, sausages. There's even liver and all. Bro.
A breakfast like you've not seen in a while.
I would lie on the tiles to soothe my stomach.
You'd almost, when you look at this breakfast, you almost remember the
Bro,
days
yes.
when you lay on the...
I ate everything. I was a man on a mission. I mean, even the Luya community were like, well represented, you know what I'm saying? Eh?
You devoured.
And I did, and the Lord said to me while I was in South Africa, I will never leave you nor forsake me.
Right.
Do you believe me now?
And you could almost see it. Literally.
Yes. God will never, and there's somebody watching us today,
Right.
and you're in your last legs, you're in your wit's end. Trust me, he will never leave you
Right.
nor forsake you.
And this is your personal testimony.
Yes.
Out of your own journey.
Yes. That's why my favorite song is Blessed Assurance.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus is mine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, RB, the fact is this. We're talking to people who, for sure, have struggled addictions like you.
Yes. Yes.
And today we can stand and say it is possible to get past it.
Yes.
There are guys who are also on their tail end, man. I mean, sleeping on that floor, trying to put shots just to be warm. I'm sure, and especially during this COVID.
Right.
I mean, it has been tough for a lot of people.
Yes.
And either some of them slipping into either depression or not even clear what tomorrow is going to look like. And you look at eyes that are feeling hopeless. Question for me is, I mean, how then did you then connect all these dots, and what kept you going through the moments that you almost feel I'm at the end, but I keep on going?
What kept me going is God.
Yep.
Because, brother, Friends will run away from you.
Right.
And there's somebody watching.
Yep.
Lost their job, they have nothing to offer.
Yep.
Their friends have run away from them.
Right.
Hold on to God. Bro, hold on to God. Sister, hold on to God. He is never on voicemail. He never gossips. He's closer than a brother.
Right.
And that small, still voice will keep on encouraging you. Hold on one more day, help is on the way.
Right.
So what kept me going is, number one, my daughter. My daughter needs me. Even if I had 1 shilling, I may not have been able to buy a present, but I can give her my presence.
Right.
And I also said, the fact that God put me into this world is for a reason. Somebody else must eat off the fruit that is me.
Right.
So if I die before my time, I'll have messed quite a few people who God has positioned to encounter me in one way or another,
Right.
and to eat off my fruit.
Right.
Just the way God positioned men and women that I ate off their fruit
Right.
to be where I am today.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, that's powerful, because then you've got to realize you're part of a bigger ecosystem.
Yes, sir.
You will feed off others.
And others will feed
must
off
feed
you.
off you.
Absolutely.
And you must do your bit.
Absolutely.
In that whole equation.
Otherwise, you will have wasted your time on earth.
Right.
I've said this time and time again, nobody knows the kind of food Nelson Mandela loved. Nobody knows the kind of movies Martin Luther King loved. But if you hear, I have been to the mountaintop and I have seen the promised land, you'll know who you're talking about.
Right.
If you hear the long walk to freedom, you'll know who we're talking about.
Absolutely.
How does Mr. Nelson Mandela refuse an offer to be given freedom to go be with his wife and kids? Because he knew he was here for a greater purpose. Yeah.
And that purpose, he had fidelity to that particular purpose.
27 years in prison.
That's a short time, man. That's a long time. That's a lifetime, man.
Some people can't even give 27 minutes to other people.
Right.
Somebody gave 27 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a lifetime. Maybe just before I go, I want to stick on a bit on the personal side of
Yes,
things. I mean, earlier in the introduction, you talked about you've also had a failed marriage.
Yes.
And not that, I mean, there are many others that struggle with.
Absolutely.
And probably you just want to speak a bit into that journey.
Right. I was married to a great woman.
Right.
A great woman of God who is a gospel minister.
Right.
Great person.
Right.
We're married for just over 1 year.
Right.
It just didn't work out.
Right.
Do I have anything wrong to say about it? No, not at all.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, if a marriage fails, both parties played a part.
Correct.
I learned what I learned from the marriage.
Right.
I picked the positives from the marriage.
Right.
But I also learned from the pain of the marriage.
Right.
I wish her well. She's doing her great things out there. But it's a major part of my life because I've been mocked about being a divorced man. It is an arrow that many throw at me.
Right.
Even when I preach the gospel. You're a divorced man, what are you preaching?
Right.
When I go to talk about clothes and fashion, you're a divorced man, what are you telling us? So
Right.
it has helped me become stronger,
Right.
have a thick skin,
Right.
but also showed me that many people are not bad, even if they say those things. They're just bitter with themselves, empty. So they're looking for people to give them company,
Right.
you know. Because in any situation, I look for the positive or the lesson. I have experienced another side of God after failing in marriage. Because God said to me, I don't love you any less. People may love you less, but I don't love you any less. But also they know, I also saw the fickleness of believers because I was judged. I still get judged, but it's fine.
To date.
Oh yeah.
To date.
Sadly, and I've accepted it, I may never be able to remove that tag divorcee.
Right.
Will I get married again? Oh, you bet your bottom dollar I will. But the people who will want to hang on to that tag, divorcee, it has made me realize that you will not stop people from saying what they want to say,
Right.
but you have the control over the effect it will have on you.
Right.
So it has taught me a lot. So yes, I was married just for over 1 year, and it ended, but life has to move on. And the people I want to tell now, marriage is a God idea. Marriage is a beautiful institution. Don't look for the way out. You will get it. Every time you look for the way out, you will get it.
It's always available.
You will get it.
Yep.
And I want to tell people, I'm a big advocate for marriages.
Right.
Don't walk out because of small issues. But advice to people,
Right.
this they should take to the bank and hold on to it.
Yeah.
Stop involving too many people in your marriage. They're the ones who will break your marriage. Your friends, ladies, you're the ones who like telling everybody everything. In the salon, you're there saying, oh. Some of the ladies you say that you've been calling with your husband will slide into his DM.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of the men you men tell, you don't realize is the chairman and the life member of Team Mafisi Sako.
You've just empowered him to do other things. But coach, while there,
Right.
you know, sometimes we talk to friends
Right.
out of the fact that then it is feeling painful.
Yes.
And I genuinely need someone to
Yes.
help me out. And
Yes.
sometimes I'm not even sure who to talk to.
Right.
More often than not, is in the pursuit of seeking for help.
Yes.
And unfortunately, this pursuit then turns south. How do we deal with that part?
Number one, first, I'll advise everybody.
Yeah.
If you think you call 5 people your best friends,
Right.
more than 5,
Right.
pause this broadcast right now.
Yeah.
Call your doctor.
Right.
You need to get your head checked.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
If you have,
Right.
and I'll say this again, more than 5 best friends, you're crazy up here.
What do you mean?
Never. In fact, you need 4. One who knows your strengths and will help you build on your strengths. Like you say, Robert, I love your strength. I'm not jealous, but I'll help you build on your strength.
Right.
You need one who knows your weaknesses, but is not conniving, will not gossip you. You'll need one who is where you want to be and will help you get there. You need one who fights your battles in your absence. You have those 4. You don't need 5, 6, 7, 8. You can be friendly with everybody or with many people, but be friends with very few. Judas betrayed Jesus because he was close enough to access a kiss. Reduce your friends so that you have these solid friendships that, you know, let me ask you, Deno, and I want people to answer this wherever they are.
Yep.
If you are caught in a situation at 3 a.m., how many people will come when you call them? And they will not ask you, what is this? They will ask you, where are you? I'm coming. When they get there, then they say, what's up?
What
Trust
can I
me,
do? Right.
very few. If you are out of the country, and your wife is also out of the country, and your children have an emergency, how many will you call? And then when you hang up, you're like sorted. They will do it.
Coach, I mean, very profound question.
Yes.
Because sometimes we count our friends on the basis of who is there during the great times.
Right.
Who can I invite for this bash or that other bash? Who is posting stuff on my social media,
Right.
giving me a thumbs up and
Yes.
all of that stuff. But I mean, you raised an important point. When do we actually count to ask ourselves, truly out of this whole crowd, and I use crowd for lack of a better word,
Yes.
who truly would stand the test of what true friendship is?
So I'm going to ask one question. Do you have deathbed friendships? That you have been told by God, you have 40 seconds and you're about to breathe your last. But you have a 30-second message that you need to give somebody and something needs to be done. And that person you give the message knows in the next 40 seconds you'll be dead. Will they carry out the responsibility you gave them? Will they? Many have friends who will speak highly of them at their funeral. But it ends there. I've talked to widows who cry and say, but these guys promised me this, that my husband was their best friend, my husband did this for them. And they said, you and the kids will never suffer. Now they're trying to sleep with the widows.
Moving speeches during the burial.
That's it.
And now they want to sleep with the widow.
Yeah. How many will put to test their words and carry them through? Friendships have become fickle. And I know people say, oh, you're a pastor, you should promote love. Yes, you can love people from afar. But the inner chambers of your heart must be the preserve for the very few who did not just walk in it, earned it. Even as you work your way through the hearts of the same friends that have worked their way into your heart. And you say, we are in this together. I like sitting with much older people than me. And one time I was invited to sit with 78-year-old men. And they are 4. They have been friends for 50 years.
Wow.
Have a bank account for 50 years. And they meet, they've done investments and that. And I sat and listened to them. And said, this one lost the son, the 4 of us buried the son. We didn't ask for Arambe. This one's daughter, we're the ones who negotiated the dowry and all those things, and all those things.
Just the 4 of us.
50 years of friendship.
Wow.
Now, in this day and age, we have 5 minutes of friendships. And friendships are built on social media because I commented on your wall.
Right.
Not on value system.
Right.
And I want to tell people, build your friendship on value system. Not because you are all rich, you drive the same car. No. Value system.
Burale, when do we sit to discuss value? I mean, if it has to be the premise on it. I suspect we've become too busy to even consciously think about
value.
What the foundations even of friendships are, and even to talk about values.
Because values have been reduced to likes on social media.
Right.
Values you don't even discuss, you see. I came for this interview.
Right.
I was a few minutes late.
Right.
I apologized.
Right.
Because I value your friendship.
Right.
I value your time.
Right.
I should not have been 10 minutes late.
And you don't need to tell guys that you came 5 minutes.
No, I did. I'll be honest. Because you are teaching people a value system.
All right, go
But
ahead.
because I value your time,
Yep.
I needed to be remorseful about
Right.
it. But someone cracked a joke and said, if you plan to meet at 9 and somebody comes at 10 and finds you there, anakuuliza, yani umekuja mapema,
Already there are 9.
and you are there on time. That's how much we have diluted things. Value. Can we sit, the 2 of us, or with our families and have coffee? Not necessarily in a nyamachoma place where everybody is watching and taking photos and posting on social media. Can we just sit and discuss our children? Can we discuss our struggles without the public?
Even the question you asked about who would come. I mean, I'm actually reflecting about a question and say, who will actually come without strings attached?
Incentives.
Where what I did for you does not become the card that I want to use sometime in the future.
Sadly, many would do that.
I genuinely value you, therefore I want to be there for you.
Nothing in return.
Nothing in return.
Those are the relationships that we need to build. As men, women, the church, friends, family. That's what we need to bring back. And we're not looking for perfection. We are looking for imperfect people appreciating each other perfectly.
Imperfect people appreciating each other
perfectly. Yeah.
You know, so sometimes I listen to the passion you have around these subjects, and I'm tempted to imagine there must have been personal experiences that you must have been through. Probably became the real class for the lesson you teach today.
Yes. Everything I speak about is the class of life has taught me. Well, it's no secret. I went through serious bashing during my corona season. I call it season because it was one hell of a season. When I got sick and At that time, it was still fresh in the world, and there was a stigma attached to it. So I went public, not for PR, to help somebody take care of themselves.
Right.
Because I was one of the people who was very skeptical. Are you sure this thing is there? I got it. I needed somebody else not to get it. But in that season, sir...
Because you even got hospitalized.
Yes, 12 days. Nairobi Hospital. In that season, strangers became friends. And them that I thought were my friends, God revealed who they really are. People I've dined with ostracized me. One person who is in my craft, when I mean craft is the preaching circuit, said in a preacher's WhatsApp group, I can't wait to waking up to Robert Burale, rest in peace.